Hello student, welcome to my official YouTube channel, Mathematics A Level, and today we are discussing the concept of AP versus GP. Means what are their real world modeling in the real life example of this AP versus GP. And this is the second part of our lecture sequences and series where we are dealing with the good questions where majority of the students get stuck. So let's start. The first question I've taken is on the concept of arithmetic sequence. And you can read the question here. The first gear is the speed at the first gear here is 28 kilometers per hour. So we can write it as T1 equals to 28. Okay, similarly, the sixth gear, the speed is 115. So T6 will be 115. What they have asked for us to solve the fastest speed of the car in third gear. And this is given by an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so we know the general expression of an arithmetic sequence is given by an equals to a plus of n negative of 1 cross of d, where a is the first term and n is the number of term in the series and d is the common difference. So for this part, for t6, what we need to do, we can write it as t6 equals to 115. So unplugging this t6 formula in the general formula for the arithmetic sequence, so we'll get a plus of n negative of 1. N will be your 6 negative of 1 cross of d. D we are not aware of, so d will be written as d equals to 115. Now a is the first term which is given here, that is 28. So we'll write it as 28 plus of 6 negative 1 will be 5 cross d equals to 115. And this will be 5d equals to 115 negative of 28, and d will be equals to 115 negative 28 by 5. So it will be equals to, students, I'll directly write the value, that is equals to 17.4. Okay, so this is the common difference of this series. Now in the next part, they have told that given that the fastest speed of the car in successive gear is modeled by the geometric sequence, find the fastest speed of the car in the fifth gear. Now the question is changed. For earlier it was for arithmetic sequence, now it is for geometric sequence. We know that for geometric sequence, the general term is given by a r raised to the power n negative 1. So for this fastest speed of the car in the fifth gear, so it will be equals to T5 equals to a r raised to the power 5 negative 1 will be 4. So we'll be writing it as 4. A we know that A we have already know that it is 28, and R we are not aware of, so we'll not be writing R and we'll be writing R raised to the power 4. Okay. So for this, student, see, if T1 is equals to 28 according to the question, and T6 is equals to 115, which we have the primary values given in the question. So according to the general formula of geometric sequence, how this could be written? This could be written as AR raised to the power 5 equals to 115. Okay. From here, we know that first term is 28. So it will be 28 cross of R raised to the power 5 equals to 115. From here, what we'll get, R power 5 equals to 115 upon 28. Okay. So we can calculate it from here, that 115 upon 28 will be given by 4.107. So it will be equals to 4.107. Okay, this is the value of R raised to the power 5. From here, what we need to calculate, that is R, means we need to calculate the fifth root of 4.107. Fifth root. So just what we need to do, I'll be doing it 1 by 5. So we are getting nearly 1.326. So 1.326 is the value of common ratio. So now plugging this value of R in this equation which we have written here, T5 equals to R raised to the power 4. So we'll get 28 cross of 1.326 raised to the power 4. So T5 will be given by, value will be cross of 28. We are getting 86.69. Okay, so this is the solution of this question, students. T5 is equals to 86.69. Means the fastest speed of the car in the fifth gear will be 86.69. Don't forget to mention the kilometer per hour. Okay, this is our first question. Now let's move to the second question. Yes, it is very good question, which was there in 2022 exam paper. So the metal post is repeatedly hit in order to drive it into the ground. You can read the questions here. On the first hit, the post is driven 100 millimeter into the ground. Second hit, an additional 98 millimeter into the ground. Third hit, 96 mm. So what we can observe here, that on the first hit, that is T1 equals to 100 mm. This is the first hit. Now similarly, on the second hit, what we are getting? We are getting the value of 98. Third hit, we are getting the value as 96. So we can see here that it is forming a arithmetic series. Okay, it is forming an arithmetic series. How we got to know? We can see that the common difference between the terms here is -2, and the first term is 100. And even they have mentioned that in the question 2 that it is an arithmetic sequence, so that the post is driven an additional 62 millimeter into the ground with the 28 hit. So what we just need to find is the T20. So it will be given by a plus of n negative of 1. So n is the number of term. They have asked for 20th hit. What will be the means post will be driven by? So it will be 20 negative of 1 cross of d. So from here we can see that the common difference between the terms is -2. How we got to know? Those who can't find the value, they can directly subtract the T2 negative of T1 or T3 negative of T2. You'll get to know. So the common difference here is -2. Now for T20, the value, the first term is 100 millimeters. So we'll be writing 100 plus of 19 cross of negative of 2. So what we are getting here, 100 cross of 30, 100 negative of 38. So this will be equals to 62. So T20, what they have asked for, that show that the post is driven additional 62 mm. So we have shown this, student, that for 62 mm into the ground with the 20th hit. So we have got this value, student, 62 mm. So at the 20th hit, the post will be moving forward with 62 millimeter. Now find the total distance that the post has been driven into the ground after 20 hits. Now if the concept here is of total distance, what we need to apply the formula of sum of the arithmetic sequence, that is given by sum 20. S20 equals to, we have made the separate video on this, student. 2a plus of n negative of 1 cross t is also one of the formula. Even this could also be written as n by 2 equals to a plus of a20. Whatever value you find, whatever you find suitable, you can apply here. So S20 will be given by 20 by 2. If you are applying the second part, this formula n by 22, a plus of a20. So the first term was, student, 100 mm. So it will be taking the first term plus of a20. A20 we have calculated, that is 62. Don't get confused between A and T. I have taken T1 as a general representation for you. T20 is a general representation. So here we have written A and A20, both are same. This is the first term. This is the first term, students. This is the 20th term. This is the 20th term. So don't get confused. So we'll get 10 cross of 162, that is equals to 1620. So this is the total distance that the post has been driven after the 20th hits. Okay. Now This is the particular solution for the B part, student. This is the solutions. Now we come to the next part, that is given that for each subsequent hit after the 20th hit, the additional distances the post travels from form a geometric sequence with common ratio r. On the 22nd hit, the post is driven an additional 60 mm into the ground. Find the value of r giving your answer to 3 decimal places. Means now the story from here, they are saying that after 20th hit, the part means the distance which the post will travel will form a geometric sequence. Means if I write it as T20, T21, the 21st term, T22, you can see here that after 20th hit means this, the sequence here which is formed is now geometric sequence. So for T20 students, see, for T20 we have calculated the value 62. For T21 we don't know the value. For T22 they have given that additional 60 mm. So means it is 60 mm. Okay. Oh, okay. So find the value of R. So we know that how this geometric sequence work. For example, if we are taking this as the first term, this is our second term, this is our third term. This is how we used to get. So from here, if I say that A is 62 and AR square is equals to 60, so what we need to do, we need to plug the value of A here. So we'll get 60 cross of R square equals to A is 62, so we'll be writing 62 cross of R square equals to 60. From here we can see that R square is equals to 60 by 62. That will be equals to, we can take the division here, that is 60 by 62, 0.966. So 0.966 is the value of R square. So from here what we can say that the value of R will be, students, just need to take the square root of this value. So we are getting 0.9837. So 0.9837 is the value. Okay, means 0.9837 is the value. Now we have got the value of R, students, that is 0.9837. So giving your answer to 3 decimal places, which we have done. In the next part, they have asked, after a total of n hits, the post will have been driven more than 3 meters into the ground. Find, showing all the steps in your working, the smallest possible value of n. Okay. Now see this part, 3 meter into the ground after a total of n hits. So total of n hits, the post will have been driven more than 3 meters into the ground. This is meter, we need to convert into millimeter. We will be getting 3000 millimeter. Okay, out of 3000 millimeter, students, we have already calculated the distance of the post in the first 20 hits. See, we have calculated the distance of the post in first 20 hits, that is 1620. So what will be the remaining distance, students? We need to see. So remaining, yeah. So the total distance, which according to the question they have mentioned, is 3 meter, which will be equals to 3000 millimeter. And the distance which we have calculated from the 28th hit, so S20, which we have calculated, was 1620 millimeter. 1620 millimeter. So now what we need to do, we need to take the rest of the distance. The rest of the distance what we need to do, we need to subtract this value. So what we'll get, 3000 negative of 1620, we are getting the value as 1380. 1380 millimeter is the remaining distance. Okay, students. Now, what we can do here, yes, till 20th hit, it was an arithmetic sequence, but after 20th hit, we are in the question they have mentioned that it is forming a geometric sequence. So we need to work out for the n hits, the number of hits which we are getting. So we have mentioned the 28th, 21st, 22 distance here. So we'll be writing it 20th, 21, 22 distance we have got, that is 62. This was 62, student, and this was 60. However, this 60 is not required. What I am telling you, what I wanted to convey you here is that after 20th it is forming a geometric sequence. So this will be considered as geometric sequence according to the question. So we know that if we need to find the total distance after the 20th hit, whatever the remaining distance has been left, so for this, if we need to find, so we'll be applying the sum of the geometric sequence formula instead of applying the arithmetic formula. To the 21st term we were not able to find, but T22 was 60. So from here we can see that they have told in the question that it is forming a geometric sequence. So we need to apply the formula of geometric sequence, that is given by S equals to A 1 negative of r raised to the power n upon 1 negative of r, which we have written already, students. So what we need to do, that how many remaining distance is, what is the remaining distance left, that is 1380. So it is 1380 is the remaining distance. So it must be less than or equal to a 1 negative of r raised to the power n, which we have already calculated here. R is 0.9837. So we'll be writing it as 0.9837 raised to the power k. We are not taking n here, so we are replacing it with the k. So 1 negative of r, that is equals to 0.9837. Okay, so don't get confused that why I have put this inequality sign here. Means this is the remaining distance which the posts need to cover anyhow. So it must be either equal to 1380 or it must be greater than 1380. Okay, that means total number of hits if we are asking. So it should be either equals to 1380 millimeters or it should be more than 1380, but it can't be less than 1380. So that is why we have put in this inequality sign here, students. Now I'm calculating it further. I have calculated, so I'll be writing it the values here. So we are getting it as, on solving it further, we are getting 1 negative of 0.9837 raised to the power k. So wait a sec, I'll be doing. So 1 negative of 0.9837, that is 0.017 cross of 1380. We are getting 23.46 on the left hand side, 23.46 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side, since a is here, a is 62, so we'll be writing it as 62, and here 1 negative of 0.9837 raised to the power k. Okay, so need to further calculate it, so we'll be getting the values here, 62. So we are getting 0.378 on transposing this value here. So we'll be we'll be writing it as 1.378 less than or equal to 1 negative of 0.9837 raised to the power k. On solving it further, we can say that we will be transposing this in 0.9837 to the left hand side. So what we'll be getting here, I'll be writing it here for you, 0.9837 raised to the power k is less than or equal to 1 negative of 0.378. Okay, so okay, I'm solving it this. we'll get point of 9837 raised to the power k is less than or equal to 1 negative of point 1 negative of 0.378, that is equals to point of 638. So we are getting point of 638. Now what we need to we take the means the log on both the sides, so we'll get k log of point of 9837 less than or equal to log of 0.638. Okay, log of 0.9837 has the negative value which you can calculate, which we are getting as point of 0.0071 less than or equal to log of 0.638. We are getting this value as point negative of 0.195. So we know that if we are having the negative sign in the equation, so the inequality sign get reversed, so it will be equals to k greater than or equal to point of 195 upon 0.0071. So k must be greater than or equal to this particular value. So we are getting k greater than or equal to, on solving it, we are getting 27.49. Okay, so k must be the total number of hit which we are telling, it must be greater than 27.49. So what the value of the k is possible here, it is 28. Okay, now come back to the question again, students. So we have seen that for T20, for till 20th hit it was all sorted. Now we have calculated the number of hits required for the rest of the 1380 millimeter distance. So what we can say here, that the total number of hits, minimum hits, will be equals to 20 was there in the first term, and for this we have calculated 28, so it will be equals to 48 hits. Okay, so this is the total number of hits which is required to cover the remaining distance, to cover all the distance, not the remaining distance. So okay, so this is the total number of the hits required to cover the end distance. So this is how we need to approach this problem. Now let's move to the next question, student. That is James saves money over a numbers of week. So they have given a particular sequence here, students, and even they have told here that it is forming an arithmetic sequence here. You can see here that it is forming an arithmetic sequence. The first in first week it is 10 euro, and in the second week it is 9.20 euro. In the third week it is 8.40, and so on. Is 10. The second term here is 9.20. Third term is 8.40. So the common difference what we need to find is a2 negative of a1. So the second term is 9.20. Negative of 10 will be equals to negative of 0.8. Okay, this is the common difference. Now in the question only they have mentioned that the cost to buy a printer was 64, means total number of money is 64, and the number of weeks we need to calculate. So we know that sum of the n terms of an AP arithmetic sequences is given by Sn equals to n by 2 to a plus of n negative of 1 cross of d. Okay, so Sn here is 64 equals to n by 2, and we are not aware, so we'll be writing it as n, and 2a, so it will be a, we are plugging in from here, so we'll be getting 20 plus of n is number of terms which we are not aware, again n negative of 1, d is negative of 0.8. Okay, so on calculating it further, we'll get 128 on the left hand side, on the right hand side 20 plus, so here we need to open the brackets, we'll get 0.8n plus of 0.8. So it will be equals to 128 equals to n. Here we will be getting 20.8 negative of 0.8 n. Okay, so what we are getting, 128 equals to 20.8 n negative of point of 8n square. On transposing point of 8n square on the left hand side, what we'll get? The negative sign will be changed to positive sign, so it will be point of 8n square. Similarly, we are taking 20 point of 8n to the left hand side, so the sign will again changed, so it will be negative of 20 point of 8 n plus of 128 equals to 0. What we need to do here, we just need to divide the whole equation with the coefficient of n square. The coefficient of n square is 0.8, so we'll be dividing it. We'll be getting like this. We are getting point of 8 n plus of 128 upon point of 8 is equals to 0. Now if we calculate it further, we'll get n square negative of 20.8 upon 0.8, so we'll be getting as 26 n plus of 160 equals to 0. Okay, this you can calculate it. Sorry, which what we have divided here, students, this you can calculate it, and this is the value which we are getting, which they have asked here. Show that this particular equation will be getting this equation, so we'll be getting n square negative of 26 n plus of 160. Now again they have asked that solve the equation, hence state the number of weeks James takes to save money to buy the printer, giving a brief reason for your answer. So we need to solve this equation, students. So it could be done by the factorization to it. So 160, how it we need to do it, we can take the prime factor of this 160. You will be getting 4 if we are taking prime factorization. We're taking the division of the numbers here, so we are getting means yes, so we can say here that yeah, so this 26 could be written in the form of negative of 16n negative of 10n plus of 160 equals to 0. Now we need to take the factors here, so getting n negative of 16, again the factor here is 10, so in the bracket the sign will change, so it will be equals to 0. So here we are getting n negative 16 n negative 10 equals to 0. So the value here which we are getting is n equals to 16 and n equals to 10. Okay, now in the question they have told state the number of weeks James take to save money to buy the printer, giving a brief reason for your answer. Now n is equals to 16, or it could be 10. Okay, so if we are taking, for example, if we are taking number of week as 16, number of week as 16 students, so just we need to see that what will be the number of terms here. See, number of terms if you are taking, so for the first case I'll be taking, student, I'll be writing separately here. The first case here is n equals to 16. For n equals to 16, if I say, since a was 10, d was negative 0.8, so is it possible? So just let's see. So an is equals to a plus of n negative of 1 cross of d. This is the case of general just formula for finding the general value here. So a was 10 here, plus of n was n is 16 for the first case, so 15 cross of d is 0.8. Okay, so on calculating it we are getting 10 plus. Now 15 cross of 0.8 is 12. So we can say here, student, that we are getting 12. So an is getting as negative term, so that is equals to negative of 2. Okay, so if we, okay, now if I say let's take n equals to 10 here, student, so again just same formula and same application, so it will be 10 plus of n is 10 here, so it will be 10, so it will be 9 cross of d is equals to 0.8, so that will be equals to 10 negative of 7.2. So we can say that n here will be equals to 2.8. So why this is not possible and why this is possible? Yeah, means n equals to 10 is only possible, student. Why is this so? So we need to see this part, that this is the solution, not this part. Why is this so? Means because if we are taking n equals to 16, students, so the last term is here, we are getting it as negative 2. So if we'll be adding these values, means what I mean to say here is that if we are adding these values, 10, 9.2, last value, if we are saying taking it as negative 2, so their sum will be equals to 64. This is correct. But the thing is that the money could not be negative. Okay. So this is the main cause here. I'll be writing it here, that money could not be negative. Okay. In case of n equals to 10, students, we can see here that the last term, that is 2.8. So this is the possible case of euro, because 2.8 is the real numbers. But if I say what you have negative 2 euro, so it is not possible. So that is why n equals to 10 is the will be the case number of week here, not n equals to 16. Okay, so this is the solution. Now let's move to the next question, students. Yeah. Next question which I have taken, student, is the competitor is running a 20-kilometer race. So the first 4 kilometers was at a steady pace of 6 minutes per kilometer. And after the first 4 kilometers, she began to slow down. Okay, for let's say for the first 4 kilometers, what will be the time taken for the first 4 kilometer? That will be equals to the total distance cross of minute required. So it will be 4 cross of 6, that will be equals to 24 minutes. So for the first 4 minutes, it is already mentioned that it will be means it is running, this competitor is running at a constant pace. So 24 minutes is required for the first 4 kilometers. After the first 4 kilometers, this competitor begins to slow down. So the for T5, if I say, so for T5, what will be the value? Okay, so for first 4 kilometer, it is mentioned 666. This is sorted for us. But for the fifth means time interval, if we are going to calculate, it means we need to calculate it like this: 6 plus of 5% of 6. Okay, so this what we are getting here, this value as 6.3. Now again for the sixth means sixth kilometer, what will be the value? Again, this 5% increment will be in the 6.3. So we can say 6.3 plus of 5% of 6.3. Okay, for the sixth minute, for the sixth kilometer. So it will be equals to 6.615. Okay, so we can see here that we have calculated the total time from required to complete the 1 to 6 kilometers. So the first 4 kilometer was time taken was 24 minutes. For the fifth kilometer it was 6.3, and for the sixth kilometer it was 6.615. So this we are getting it as 36.915. Yeah, 36.915. So we know that this could not be a time, because time will be in minutes and seconds. 0.915. So from here we can say that 36 minutes is sorted for us. But for 0.915, so we need to multiply it with 60 to make it into seconds. So we are getting roughly 54.7. So which could be equals to 55 seconds, because we'll be writing the absolute value. So from here we can say that the total time interval is 36 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay. Now in the next part, they are asking us to show an estimated time and all. So Again, I will write it 6, 6, 6, 6. This was for the first 4 kilometers. For the fifth kilometer, it was 6.3. For the sixth kilometer, it was 6.615. This was a part of an arithmetic sequence. This part is a part of an geometric sequence. How I came to know? Because it is mentioned in the question that it is getting 5% greater by the subsequent means with the previous amount of time. So from here you can say that this is the T4. This is the common, by the way. This will be the T5 which we have calculated. This is the T6. Okay, so for this interval, student, if I say this series sequence, if I say what will be the common ratio, the common ratio for this geometrical sequences will be, common ratio will be given by T5 by T4, or even you can mention it as T6 by T5. The value will be seen. You can see what we'll get. T5 by T4 will be 6.3 divided by 6, that will be equals to 1.05. So from here we can easily figure it out that the ratio here is 1.05. Even you can calculate for T6 by T5, the value will be 1.05. So the common ratio here is 1.05. Now come to the question again. For the fifth kilometer, this part could be written as 6 cross of 1.05. How I am writing it? 6.3 could be written as 6 cross of 1.05. If you will calculate it, you will be getting the value as 6.3. Now similarly for T6, we can write it as 6 cross of 1.05 whole square. So this is how I got to know that it is a geometrical sequence. Anyway, I have directly written, means you can find the common ratio also, you can analyze it here. Otherwise, you can take the other step, students, that we can directly go with the 5% greater thing. So we will be writing it as 1.05. This could also be a case, but I can see it here that it is forming a geometric sequence. So T6 could be written as 6 cross of 1.05 whole square. So we'll be getting 6.615 only. So now what I wanted to show you here, that for T5 it is 6.105. For T4, if I say the value was 6, which I've already mentioned. Okay, for T5 it was 6 cross of 1.05. Now let's say this is the n here, which is equals to 1. So I'll not be taking it as 1, I'll be taking it as 1 only. I'll be writing it as 1. So now we need to see the relationship between this number of kilometers and the exponent. We need to see the relationship between the number of kilometers and the exponent of the rate of this means this race, at what time interval this particular time is getting increased. So we can see that here is the difference of 4, 5 negative of 1, that is 4. Similarly, for the 6th kilometer, the exponent is 2. So there is a relationship. There is a relationship between the number of kilometers and the means the estimated time exponent. So we can say that it is getting decreased by 4. So for rth kilometer, if I say for rth kilometer, TR, if I mention it, so it will be 6 cross of 1.05. Now what will be the value, what will be the exponent here? That will be equals to r negative 4. How? I have shown you the relation. Here 5 is mentioned, so we are getting it the exponent as 1. Here 6 is the kilometer, so the exponent is here is 2. So for the rth kilometer, it will be r negative 4. This only they wanted to show. They have asked us to show. So this we need to write it like this, that how we need to figure it out for the rth kilometer. Now in the third part, estimate the total time in minutes and seconds that she will take to complete the race. Okay. For the first 4 kilometer, 24 minutes was required. For the fifth onwards, for the fifth onwards. So I'll write it again. For the first 4 kilometers, 6 6 6 6 cross of 6.3 cross of sorry dash 6.615. This is the sequence which we are getting. Okay. From here to here, it was an arithmetic progression. From here onwards, it is getting it as geometric progression. Okay, so the competitor is running for 20-kilometer race. She is running a 20-kilometer race. 20-kilometer race is run by the competitor. Now, if I say that from here to here, from 6 onwards, how many number of terms will be left? Means how many number of kilometers you can say that it will be left. So for this, number of term will be given by 20 negative of already this part is being getting covered, so we'll be writing it as negative of 5 plus of 1, that is equals to 16. Or you can simply say that if you are for the first 4 kilometer, if you are means excluding the first 4 kilometers, so how many kilometers will be left? So it will be 16 if you're not getting this part. So you can just directly do it that for first 4 kilometers the time was 666. So the for how many more kilometers will be left, that will be equal to 16. So the number of term will be here 16 kilometers. Now it is forming a geometrical sequence here. So we'll be applying a geometrical sequence formula here, students. R we have already calculated, that is 1.05. And for the sum of the series, geometrical series, for the geometrical series, so it will be given by a 1 negative of r n negative of 1 upon r negative of 1. Why I did this? Because the common ratio is greater than 1, so this formula will be applied. So the sum we need to calculate, a will be here treated as 6.3, r will be 1.05, n will be 16 negative of 1 upon 1.05 negative 1. Okay, so this will be the estimated time from the 5th kilometer onwards to 20th kilometer. So what we need to do, we just need to calculate it. So we will be getting the value 1.05. 16 we are getting as 2.18 negative of 1. We are getting 1.18 cross of 6.3, that is equals to 7.452 on the numerator, and in the denominator we'll be getting at 0.05. What will be getting divided by 0.05, that will be equals to 149.042. Again, 149.042 can't be treated as a time, so 149 minutes is possible, but for 0.042 students we need to again convert 0.042 into seconds. So 0.042 cross of 16. So we'll get, I think roughly we'll be getting 2 seconds if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be calculating it. 2.52 sorry, 2.52 seconds. So from here we can see the time interval required will be 149 minutes, and 2.52, it could be written as 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Both are possible cases, don't worry. We can take 2 or as well as 3. So now they have asked us for the total time to complete the race. The total time to complete the race will be, for the first 4 it was 24, for the next 16 it was 149 minutes 3 seconds. So that will be equals to 149 plus of 24 will be equals to 173. So 173 minutes, 3 seconds roughly is required. Okay. So this is how we need to solve this question, students. So this was our last problem. Stay tuned to our our channel. We'll be coming more with the videos of the sequences and series. Thank you.